And joining us today, she is the Earth Science Director at NASA. Karen St. Germain is with us. Karen, I appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us. How are you?
Great. It's great to be with you.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the Earth System Observatory, the ESO. And I know, with NASA, you guys do a lot of amazing things, but we're looking at the ESO in terms of, looking at agriculture, looking at yield predictions, improving weather forecasts, etc. Just talk to us a little bit about the ESO to start, what it is for folks who aren't familiar with it before we dive in a little more on the agriculture side.
Great. Well, as you know, most people, when they think of NASA, they may think of Mars or the moon or astronauts. And what they may not know is that NASA has a significant Earth science program that takes all that great technology and turns it back to look at our home planet. And so today we have 24 missions. Uh, on orbit, looking back at the Earth, measuring things like atmospheric water vapor and temperature, soil moisture, and so forth. So the ESO is the set of missions that we're starting to work on now that will replace what we have on orbit and bring us a view of the Earth system, the atmosphere, the land, the ocean, even the ice, at a much higher level of fidelity than we have ever seen it before.
Well, and we know that our climate is changing. Everything is changing with our earth on a day to day basis. And we're seeing that in agriculture. Farmers are dealing with different things, drought or too much rain, or they're dealing just with changes to temperature and their growing seasons. So it sounds like some of the work you guys are doing is going to be able to help us really, look at different things that farmers can take into account in years ahead when it comes to putting a crop in the ground, Karen.
Yeah, this is really important. I mean, the unique thing about the vantage point of space is it allows us to see the entire Earth system. And the Earth really does operate as a system. So one of the things that we're seeing is is an amplification or an increase in the water cycle. The water cycle being that process by which water in the oceans gets delivered to land by the atmosphere. And as our farmers know, in some areas, precipitation is becoming more intense. And in other areas, we're really lacking precipitation. Our temperatures are changing, and that's changing the growing zones. So we want to help farmers and producers look ahead to see what may be coming where they are. And that really relies on these, it all starts with these critical observations from space.
Well, and thinking as well, looking especially at improving weather forecasts. I know our forecasting and modeling is very superb now, but we're always looking to make it better and more advanced warning and more accuracy. And I know that some of the work you guys are going to do here in the years ahead is really going to look at trying to make things even more accurate in our forecasting than they already are.
That's right, and this is a great example, actually, about how the Earth works as a system. The key to improving our forecasts over longer periods, subseasonal to seasonal, really rests in understanding the oceans. And that's one of our areas of focus in NASA Earth Science. But but we also have to look at the oceans in the context of what's happening in the atmosphere. So that's why this whole collection of observations has to happen together. It's that 3D holistic view that's really going to allow us to get to a better understanding of the processes that ultimately gives us that predictive capability.
Well, I know as well. We think about all these different things combined. We hear a lot about sustainable agriculture and I know that plenty of the work that NASA is doing is only going to help further that mission with our farmers to be more sustainable here, not only in the US but across the entire globe.
Yeah, that's right, and we have strong partnerships with the agriculture sector today. Again, starting with our observations on soil moisture and groundwater and vegetation stress, um, and many of those services today are delivered through other agencies or other organizations like USDA, for example. Um, but looking ahead and helping the entire ag sector plan for the future is really going to models and the kind of expertise that exists in the ag sector. It's really going to depend on linking these our expertise together to help get to that better predictive capability.
Well, Karen, here in the short term, as you guys are starting in on some of these new missions and new projects, is there anything major that really stands out to you that the ESO is going to be working on and looking at maybe first and foremost here as we move forward?
Yeah, so the ESO, one of the really important things it's going to do is help us understand how the atmospheric processes are changing as the atmosphere warms up, and what that's going to do in terms of the water cycle and precipitation and water availability around the world. The other big capability that we're building in the ESO is a capability to really understand vegetation health and and type around the world. So it's going to give us an unprecedented view of the changes we're seeing in biodiversity and also in crop productivity around the world.
Well, Karen, this has been fantastic stuff. Any other final thoughts you have for us? Anything else you want to share we haven't covered before we run out of time today?
Well, I think the key is, as I said, it's going to be working together. We at NASA really feel that uh, we love the science we do, but we really feel that the power of that science gets unleashed when we can put it into the hands of people who can use it to make better decisions, whatever that means for them. Um, so we're really we appreciate the time with you today because really I think building these partnerships with the agriculture community is going to be the key to maximizing the impact of our science for a better future for everybody.
Well, and we appreciate the time and the insights, and we'll look forward to seeing some of that research as we move forward. With that, Earth Science Director at NASA, Karen St. Germain, thank you for the time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.